Hey, so the following clip I'm going to play you is from the Waking Up podcast with Sam Harris, episode 108. He invited Tom Nichols on to talk about the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's just a little over 3 minutes, and I think it's a very short but precise definition of what the Dunning-Kruger effect is and what it isn't. And Tom was on the podcast, also talk about his book. If you want to check out his book, go ahead and click below. I'll have the link there. All right, check out the clip. Thanks.
Challenge he always uses, like the guy who goes up and butchers a song during karaoke night, steps off the stage and says, nailed it, because he just doesn't get it. He can't hear it. And so the Dunning-Kruger, these two social psychologists, Dunning and Kruger, did a series of tests where they figured out that the people who are least competent at something tend to be the most likely to overestimate their competence at whatever they're doing. So, people that are bad writers think that they're terrific writers. And that's why they're bad writers, because they can't recognize it. They can't mobilize this skill called metacognition, which is the ability to step back from what you're doing and evaluate it kind of outside of yourself a bit.
Yes. Unfortunately, the Dunning-Kruger effect as a meme has spread so widely online that now I've begun to notice that mentioning the Dunning-Kruger effect is often a symptom that one is suffering from it. I don't know if you've noticed this, that people are throwing this around and they do it more or less in the direction of any ideas they don't like.
Right. Well, and it's become a synonym for stupid, which it isn't.
Right.
The Dunning-Kruger effect is a very specific thing of thinking you're good at something when you're not good at something, and that the worse you are at it, the less likely you are to be able to recognize it.
Yeah. It should be obvious why that would be the case, at least in one respect, because it's not until you really know a lot about a discipline that you come to recognize how much more there is to know, the gradations of expertise. It takes a mathematician of some level to appreciate the most brilliant products of mathematics, and therefore the feats of mathematicians better than him or herself. If you don't have all the tools necessary to have the conversation, you can't even appreciate the high wire act that's going on over your head.
I think too, that the other word I use a lot in the book that I think creates a synergy with the Dunning-Kruger effect is narcissism, because people, as you say, when you become an expert at something, and this is kind of ironic because, of course, I don't exactly have a reputation for being a self-effacing, humble guy, but it's a very humbling thing to become an expert because you start to realize that what you thought might be interesting and relatively, something you could get your arms around turns out to be immensely complex. It's sort of like deciding that you. I think C.S. Lewis has a great metaphor for it when you love the stories of Homer as a boy, and then you start studying ancient Greek and say, "Wow, this is really difficult."